Whew. Hey guys, how's it going? So we have finally made it out to a nice little remote spot in the mountains to do our overnight camp with our JayJays Gen 4 webbing belt kit loadout. I done a video on it, I want to say a few weeks ago, or posted it a few weeks ago. I'll make sure to link to it up in the corner and down in the video description. But I was looking for a spot that seemed a wee bit sheltered, and this spot does, thanks to all these magnolia tree slash bushes that are around this spot. And we're going to be going with a low profile shelter, so it's not like we have to have a ton of room to fit what we need to fit in terms of our overhead protection and all that, because this is a pretty I wouldn't say minimal kit, or I guess at the very least it's a basics kit, because it's got a lot of comfort items in it, but you know, it's very lightweight, low profile, and just carrying a lot of additional water, even though we have creeks and streams everywhere around here. But I can say that traversing with this is really comfortable. I still feel pretty cool. Right now it's got to be probably about 50 to 52 degrees outside with a pretty consistent breeze blowing. And I just have on one of the Pentagon moisture wicking shirts that we got from Military First unboxing. And then this is the JayJays windproof smocks. I thought, you know, if I'm wearing the webbing, might as well bring the smock out. Plus I need that to carry a couple of additional items that I didn't include in the belt kit, and I talked about that in that video. But yeah, crawling up inclines like this with this kit on, no problem. Going through really thick vegetation. Everything I got on here is pretty well balanced out. Really nice still though to have a canteen kit for the quick and easy drinking of water and not having to worry about getting into one of the pockets on the webbing itself. So yeah, let's take and get the webbing off, and then we will kind of decide how we want to go about stringing our shelter up. Get that off. And just that. And then the Tasmanian Tiger pouch worked really well. And then just like the mid layer that I added into this, you guys will see that at some point. And there is a look at everything we brought with us. Seems nice and flat. We just got to move that rock right there. Break out leather gloves here. One of the metal D-rings come off of this other glove, so that just makes it a little bit of more of a hassle to get off. But I've been really impressed with how well these gloves have held up, because I've been carrying them and using them for quite a while now. So this rock is actually in there pretty good. See, the thing that makes a rock like this, even though it's not ginormous, difficult to get out of the ground, is when you're amongst magnolias and stuff like this, and then just thick woodland in general, is the root systems that grow in and around them. So by digging like this with just a digging stick, you can break up those roots that are really holding on to it. There we go. There's a nice rock we can use for something later. Just fill that in. Pretty good. We'll add a little bit more of that. But clear the rest of it. So now come back to our beautiful belt kit. Try to remember which pocket. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Okay, this is where we got our poncho. And this is a new Miltech Phantom Leaf. I want to say this is the Z3 camo, but it's the more green camouflage, because I know that I'll be using a poncho like this more during the summer. But we'll give you guys a look at this. I have had it out of the bag to see how easy it was to like put back in, but aside from that, it's not been used. And it is made of a really thick filling ripstop material. That camouflage, man. The phantom leaf stuff is definitely my top favorite camo designs. And we already do have some shoelace style cordage at the corners. Don't really need that for this. I'm going to try to make sure I don't lose it. We don't have any precipitation coming, but we are going to cinch up the hood. We'll kind of see how well this right here will close up. That's pretty good for what we need. Utility belt here. So I know in this pocket I've got, this is that One Saber signal panel and waterproof ground mat, so we'll have that to sit on and do our stuff with. And then the other stuff I had in here, that's going to be used for a sleep system, and then that is to blow up our air pad. So again, all the luxuries in this kit that we need. So now I took the socks out of our main pack and changed out the socks. These are Farm to Feet. These are a much higher quality, warmer pair of socks that we'll have sleep in. Then I know I put my cordage in here, and this is the thing that I'm wondering, because the tree that I need to tie off to, to do a plow point at the angle I want, is a bit far away, but we should have plenty. That one's definitely not going to be long enough, so I'm glad I included this hank in there. But it looks like I've cut this one in a few places, so I'm not really sure how long it is. I'm going to attempt to use these really crappy stakes that I included in the kit just to see how well they hold up. There could be some pretty decent wind gusts, so that's, we'll just kind of have to play that one by ear, but make sure those don't get too dirty. I also have a little hank of jute twine in my pocket, my smock pocket, just from the last time I used my smock. So first things first, bring our back corner out kind of as far back as it can here. I'm trying to just picture the angle so that I have room to stake that other one out. This is like really soft ground too, and that's the reason why I'm really questioning the capabilities of these stakes. Oh, okay, and I think this is the type of angle that I want to go with the long side on kind of this edge, and then the shorter side up there. So right here is going to be our tree. I just put a loop at the end of this piece of paracord, and it looks like it's going to be long enough. Then now we should just be able to take our rope roller and clip it onto that grommet. And then now we can adjust the height on the tree over here. Okay, so that is still looped around that. What I did is I went up to this magnolia right here, and that right there gives it a really good lift. And then we'll tie up our hood with that other short piece of paracord and rope roller that we got. See if attaching it right here will work. And we'll adjust the height of that once we get our other stakes in here. Like I said, it's low profile, but that right there is not shabby. Also, where I got that jute twine, I can take and tie this up and out. Almost have enough to do it with the shoelaces that are on here. There we go. And yeah, here's just a little bit more of an overview of the shelter. Here it is from behind with the sun shining on it. Once that's in a shadow area, it's going to be really difficult to see. Okay, and I just took and tied up that corner to a little tree that's back there. That way some air can pass through and this doesn't just catch air like a parachute. Because with those stakes and the winds that we could be getting, I don't mind if we get some air kicking up from right there. Okay, then here we've got our sleeping pad, which I was really happy ended up fitting into that magazine pouch. And it is a rectangular flex tail pad. And then to go along with this, we was able to fit in this Eaton Wolf pump. One of my flex tail pumps is slightly smaller, but I've just been testing this one out and still haven't charged it, and it's going strong, so I want to just keep rocking with it. And then something new that I want to try if it'll fit. This is a One Saber focus. This is a One Saber emergency bivy, same that makes this signal panel. And so this is one of those Mylar sleeping bags. And just to add a bit more protection and reflective insulative properties to our sleeping pad, I'm going to try putting it into this bag if it'll fit. So, and I do got to say, because I didn't really pay attention, this FlexTail pad actually is feels really durable and pretty thick. So that this extra step might not be necessary, but if anything, we'll see if it adds any noticeable warmth, since we'll have that reflective layer encompassing the bag. And yeah, so that's our pad. It's got the egg carton design to it. And then we'll open this up. One nice thing is this does have a whistle on it, so that's worth keeping. With these, you can't really recycle these, but I mean, if it seems like we can, then I will. And yeah, this one is emergency orange. I will try to turn this thing inside out, that way the reflective side is pointing up towards us. Yeah, and so like we've used one of these before to make a browse bed out of, which was actually more comfortable than like an air pad. Like if I took the time to stuff this with leaves and stuff and not get sticks in it, then we could have a very insulated mattress that also had reflective properties. Or you could kind of combine the two if you wanted to, but the temp's only going to be getting down to 40 tonight, so this should be fine and dandy. The green version, because I have a couple of those as well. Something I just realized is we could actually take, there's plenty of room in this, we could take and have our pad in this, have the one layer of protection, and fit our sleep system in here. Kind of how much condensation you would get if you're in a sleeping bag, because when you're directly in these, you definitely do get a bit of condensation, but with this, the sleeping bag will probably take some of it. So let's redo this. And if our foot end ends up sticking out of any of our sleeping bag down there, that will keep it from getting any moisture on it. And then also to mention, since we are out here solo, got the Zoleo with me where it's quick and easy to reach. I've been carrying this thing with me in every video, but sometimes I have it in a smock pocket or just in the brain of my pack, just somewhere where it's easily accessible. Alrighty, so got a really small little pit dug. We don't need much, just enough to get our water boiling. Just going to have a small fire, and it just so happened this piece of wood that I broke off of a tree that was really dense. Like I could tell it's pine, so it's kind of been there so long it's a bit petrified that it's got a tiny bit of resin collected, so a little bit of a fat wood property that we can burn. But in my smock pocket, got one of these live fire things. This is one that I've used a handful of times, and it still seems like it's got a lot of life left in it. So the lighter, and to see if I've got enough of space here for this to work, and then me retrieve that without using my multi-tool. That will get hot quick. But yeah, using that method, there's really no telling how many fires you could get out of one of these. It's already cooled down enough to put back in my pocket. Okay, so opening up our pouch here. Here I've got my mid layer, which is a Sky Goat zip fleece. I've used this in conjunction with an outer layer like this, down to around 40 and below, like while moving. So right now the temperature seems to have stayed pretty dang constant throughout the day. Like right now it's still got to be 49 degrees, right around there. So actually I think my thing in here, I forgot about it, yeah, on the side of our tough possum pouch we've got a thermometer. It's been in that pocket, so it won't be 100%. Yeah, where it's been in that pocket, it says it's like probably about like 60 degrees. So anyways, we'll leave this setting out kind of back here and see what that ends up saying. We don't need that at all. The smock is still plenty. We'll get our meal out, which is pasta alla vodka with chicken. This one's really good. I did notice one thing. We're kind of back to the glory days. I forgot to put my spoon in here after washing it, so not a big deal. It's actually pretty easy to eat these meals without a spoon if you have to. We'll just have to get a stirring stick, and then packed tightly at the bottom is our snug pack jungle bag. And where I got this thing compressed down so tight, I'm going to go ahead and lay it out so that it can be lofting up a bit. So yeah, if you don't know, the snug pack jungle bag is your, I mean, like as the name implies, a jungle bag. I've used this thing personally down to during a camping trip, let's see, 49 degrees, and I was perfectly comfortable, like no complaints whatsoever. As I mentioned, the low, which we probably won't hit the low till 3:30, 4 a.m., is 45 degrees. So considering it's in this bivvy, it'll be even better. But the reason why we went with this bag is because as a zip in, you can fully enclose it with a mosquito net / bug net. And truthfully, I've not seen that many creepy crawlies in this area, luckily. So I don't think we're going to have to worry about it that much, but we are going to utilize the bug net. And the bug net on this one, if you guys can see that right there, it just stows away in that pocket. You can take and zip this thing pretty much completely closed. I mean, like once you have both zippers in, there's not any bigger gap than you would have with any of like that USMC bivvy or any of the other bivvies that fully enclosed. So this thing is just a real lifesaver if you don't have any other way to keep insects off of you. It's closed up. We'll just leave it out right now, let it do its thing. So what we do is we got coals now, and I am just lining this with wood going one direction. I'm going to get it kind of level, and then the plan is we're going to set our canteen cup here. We can still get airflow and blow air into it from that front side, and if we need to, we can just lift canteen cup off. And since that coal base was spread pretty even and those sticks are pretty evenly laid out right there, that should burn pretty evenly. I know, like, you could take and dig a Dakota fire hole, but the effort's really not worth it for what we need the purpose of this fire for. And with this ground as rooty as it is, this is Feist for sure. And then the headlamp that I brought out to use tonight, I've been carrying in this smock pocket, is this Phoenix headlamp. So the water is boiling, but I'm going to need a stirring stick. So this is just a piece of poplar. Yeah, it is a nice rolling boil. That smoke is just wanting to go right in my eyes. So you already got the oxygen absorber out of that. Ooh. And we will high-tech stirring device. It's real easy to get the corners in there. separately, but we'll give that about 12 to 15 minutes. And that right there is what our delicious meal for the night is looking like. And we can actually still use our stirring stick as a bit of a shovel. Now that we're done with the fire, I'm just going to push the dirt in on it. Because right now, the way that the wind's moving, it's wanting to, well, it's not windy really, but just the air pressure and stuff is moving through here. It's pushing everything this way. Very nice. Essentially, we're just going to be getting it up like that right there. There you go. And this is one of the best of these Red Wise Pro meals, in my opinion. This is just extremely tasty. Like, to not have to add anything to it. This has turned out to be a good camp. If the temp don't change much, we're just going to be sleeping on top of that emergency bivvy, because without having a little bit of airflow and the breathability from that bag, I think we're just going to end up overheating and sweating. So definitely going to be sleeping on top of it. And on these packs it says let set for 7 to 12 minutes, but I'm telling you, you need to let it set for 15 to 18, because that's what it really takes to let the water and stuff penetrate the pieces of meat. I gotta say, the stick method is working way better than I thought it would. Well guys, I'm gonna finish this and get back with y'all whenever it's time to hit the hay. Dang, we did get one little sear hole in our mat here where an ember must have popped out. So unfortunate, but things still holding up fairly well. But it is time to hit the hay. I'm going to take and cover our gear with this to keep the dew off of it. And then I'm going to just change socks real quick. And I'm going to crawl into the sleeping bag. Okay, and yeah, looking at the thermometer on here now, it's reading, looks about like right at 49. We're good to go. I do have the fleece here. I'm going to have it in the sleeping bag. That way if I need to throw it on, I can. But I think we're going to be good. We got the smock. It'll be underneath our head area. Got that as a pillow. Again, that's another big pro to having a hat on, is it will keep the bug net off your face, which we ain't having to worry about any flying insects. But if there was flying insects, if the netting's right on, you know, right against your face, then they can easily bite you through the mesh material. But I think this is going to be a very comfortable night's sleep, guys. So I'm going to get comfortable, and I will talk to y'all in the morning. Good morning, guys. How's it going? Slept in a bit this morning, but it was a really comfortable night's sleep, I do gotta say. This setup worked very, very well. Although we didn't really end up getting any wind gusts like was originally predicted. Like there was, you know, some occasional breeze, but just, you know, I'd say nothing over 5-8 miles per hour. I'm glad I didn't get in the bivvy because I was very comfortable throughout the night. I would say we, you know, probably hit 45, 46. And I'm somebody that I tend to generate a lot of body heat. I was very comfortable. These crows don't appreciate that I'm here right now. They're sounding the alarm, but yeah. Anyways, it was everything worked great. Love this jungle bag. I'd say this is like a very underrated product, because I feel like I don't ever see it being used for some reason, at least in the United States. But I highly recommend these, and they're honestly very, for the functionality and use of these, I think they're around the $79, $80 mark. As always, I'll link to the gear that I brought out with me and that I'm using. But yeah, we're just going to take them crawl up and get packed up, and I believe this will pack up really nicely. I did notice that I'm sure it's these crows. They have crapped on my poncho, so in 2 different places at some point. So we got to deal with that. But what can you do? So now, instead of putting my sleeping bag back in the stuff sack here, since whenever I do make it back, I'm going to be taking it out and hanging it back up in a closet. I'm not even going to use it, and we'll see. We'll do our sleeping bag first. That's where these elasticated side panels on this pouch will kind of help us out with this. And this would also be really beneficial if you needed to pack this up quickly. And yeah, didn't really need the fleece. I mean, I had it in the sleeping bag with me, but I mean, I didn't find myself like it was definitely cool at some points, but I mean, to me, it felt good, honestly, to have the cool, fresh air. Heck yeah, so that pouch is working very nicely. Make sure we get our Tough Possum pouch back in here and get our water bottle back in. Actually, we'll probably have to do the ground mat first. That's the only thing that I'm worried about getting in there as well, as easily as I did to begin with, was our sleeping mat. So I'm gonna probably just do a time lapse of taking it down, rolling it up as well with the tarp. Alrighty guys, so we have got everything packed up. That did not take too long at all. Everything went back in its place just fine. I was even able to take and roll up and fit that One Saber Mylar bivy back into our bag here. And we might be able to reuse it for something in the future, but be playing around with those a bit more. But yeah guys, all in all, great overnighter now. Just time to hike out. So really, really appreciate you taking time to watch the video, especially if you made it to the end. If you did, make sure that thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not already, share the channel and the videos with your friends, family, anybody that enjoys good old outdoor activities and gear. I will link to all the gear that I use down in the video description. Please hit me up in that comment section. Thoughts, opinions, questions, things you want to see in the future, or all of the above. Until the next one, guys, adios.